Hello Flosstube, welcome back to Snickerdoodle Stitch, or welcome if it's your first time. My name is Kathleen and this is a channel about cross stitch. So, I'm a little disorganized tonight. I don't have a whole lot to show, so this will be a shorter one, although I did stitch on 4 different things, so I guess that's a good amount for a week. But I'm getting ready to go on vacation and my vacation plans got derailed just a few hours ago, so yeah, I'm hoping filming this will improve my mood. Just a couple things. I was pressing my things that I've been working on, which is one thing I do like about doing the Flosstubes. It does force me to take things out of Q-snaps, hoops, whatever, except for scroll frames, and press them. And by doing that more frequent pressing, I think I'm less likely to have creases or wrinkles that when I'm completely finished stitching have been set in for so long that they are tricky to come out. But I do use water when I press my cross stitch, and I use a sprayer like this. This came from a quilt shop, as you can tell. It says keep calm and quilt on. But you can buy these on Amazon. They're between $10 and $15, but you would search for stylist sprayer, like hair stylist. So on Amazon, they're marketed for hair. But these have such a fine mist. It really is more of a mist than a spray. And you can saturate your piece pretty well, but if you put it on the back and then iron right away, it's not soaking your fabric so much, and there's no water drops. So it's those drops that cause the problem on our fabric sometimes, and I've had no problems using just this with the fine mist spray. That being said, over dyes, it can always be a little questionable, even with some of the flosses and the fabric. But I spray, I have my iron already heated up, and I press it immediately, and so it's probably not wet enough in any one spot or long enough for it to leave any sort of spot. I have pretty well saturated Weeks Dye Works, Atomic Ranch, Grace Notes, Swigart, that's not over dyed, but I've never had anything bleed or do anything odd, my floss nor my fabric. I am stitching one thing, it's a Teresa Kogut on an Extrude Designs, and the Extrude Designs fabric smells so odd that I think it must be coffee or tea or something organic, so I may hesitate a little more to use water on that one because I'm not sure what it would do. But I thought I would share the sprayer. I love it. If you're a quilter, you've probably already seen them. But so the other thing I wanted to show, which was not something I stitched on this week, it was on my thumbnail last week, and I meant to show it because it's the one sampler that I have that I actually finished, and it is Blackbird Designs. The winter is past, and I have no idea who makes this fabric. It just had a label on it that said Celadon, and it is 32 count. It's all in the called for Weeks Dye Works floss, and it's all just X's, except the basket does have some specialty stitches there. It's some satin stitches going in different directions that sort of give it a like an actual basket weave pattern. I'll hold it up closer so you can see. Let me see if I tilt it, if the light will catch the floss. Maybe not. And then, oh yeah, there they are. I was gonna say, I know there were like some Algerian eyelets or something. Those in this heart are specialty. You could definitely, oh, there's the Algerian eyelets. They're in that right there. So there are a few specialty stitches. None of them are really tricky or difficult. The pattern has great directions. And you could definitely just stitch them as X's if you didn't want to fool with the specialty stitches. But this was a fun piece. It had, you know, it had a lot of color changes, but so that you weren't like doing one big block, but not so many color changes that you were sick of changing your floss every other second. So this one stitched up fast. I do remember that. But I wanted to show it because I meant to last week. My only sampler. I started some more this week though. So the first thing I will show that I stitched on was my September section for Welcome to the North Pole by Primrose Cottage Stitches, and the September section are these little elves with the cocoa stand. So far I am keeping up with my every month. Actually, these go really fast, so it hasn't been too difficult to keep up with the months. I'm trying to remember what this fabric is. It is Fiber on a Whim Milk and Honey. Let me see if I'm right. Yes, Fiber on a Whim Milk and Honey. 28 count. So I did it in 28 count because that will make it 7 by 18, so it will work fairly well in a 10 by 20 frame. That would leave just, it's actually a little over 7, so it'll leave a little less than 1.5 inches on each side and on the top and bottom. So I think it will work in a 10 by 20 frame. I'm not paying for custom framing for a Christmas piece. But it's very bright and cheery. I don't have any kids or grandchildren, but this one would be fun with kids too. So this is my section. I stitched the base that they're standing on and the two little elves, and I don't know what these flowers are in the winter. Maybe some kind of stylistic poinsettias. So the only thing I have left are a few snowflakes and the cocoa stand. And then September will be done. I'm not going to get to stitch on this week because I'm going to be away and I'm not hauling this along. But probably one more night, maybe a little more than one night, but not two, of stitching, and I will have September finished. So yay, still managing to keep up with that bad boy. My next stitching, I started my, hold please. All right, I'm back. This night is not going so well. This is my second time filming this. I filmed the first time and then realized I had a couple issues that I debated just going ahead with, but then decided no, that's not the right thing to do. So here I am again, and it's probably because I'm just distracted with this vacation stuff happening. But I worked on Jardin Prive, ABC de la Brodeuse. It's this pattern. It is a band sampler, and this side shows what the whole thing looks like, and then here they've got just the top and the bottom. So it's a stitching themed band sampler, and I love Jardin Prive. If you don't have an LNS or a source to buy them, you can download PDFs directly from Jardin Prive. Their website has a good translator. I think it's in the upper right hand corner. You can select if you want English or French. But I made pretty good progress on this. So I have it in the scroll frame. And the, okay, that's not gonna work. The banding I got at Galleria last year. One of the vendors there had tons of banding, and I rooted through until I could find one. This is going to be pretty long. So this is on 28 count, and it's going to be, I think I calculated, a little over 40 inches long. So I have another band sampler, which is stitching themed, that I had done, and I didn't use banding for it. I just used a piece of linen and then finished it with some cotton quilting on the, or quilting fabric on the back. But because this was going to be so long, I was going to have to buy a huge piece of linen to be able to cut a strip. And so I looked for banding, and I thought this one was so pretty with this lacy edge. I can hold it up closer so you can see it better. And it is stitched in Aida. It's all the called for colors except for the reds. Those should be pink. The colors, so these blues over here are like the 926s, and the pinks were the 223, 224 series, and they I stitched in those way too much in the 80s, so it makes me think of the 80s dusty mauve and Wedgwood blue. And so I swapped out the pinks for the reds. The Jardin Prive site, when you click on the description for the pattern, they have a picture of one that someone did in some alternate colors, and it had some reds. There were some Threadworks reds. I did have the Threadworks reds, and I was originally going to try to model after the person whose sample they had the photo of on the site. But the Threadworks thread actually had some purples in it, which I didn't want. So I'm just using my own DMC conversion. So it's all called for except for the things that you see in red. And if you followed the pattern, those are in pink. But it's going pretty fast. I'm about 40% of the way through the first page. And there's 5 pages if I remember correctly. So my plan is to keep stitching on that this month. All right, this next one is, I've got a French theme going. So this one I've shown before. It's the Sue Hillis Designs, Broderie à Paris, and I'm doing the piece that's in the tray. On the pattern, it's stitched, like the sample is stitched on like a, you know, cream colored linen. And so then there are white stitches. So it's actually stitched in red and white. I am stitching it on 32 count white linen, so I'm only stitching the red. I'm not stitching the white. The white would be like the centers of these berries, and then like the cutout in this lace would be white, and I'm not stitching that. So that's on 32 count linen. And this week I only had like this much of this berry border done, so I did the rest of it. And I did this dashed outline and up over here, and then I had like this much of all of this top part that I did, the scallop and everything up there, and did a little jig because when I got this line up here, it matched exactly where it was supposed to. That's always an exciting moment. So I don't have too much left to do. I have a few motifs in the these motifs here in this upper corner. And then I have this to finish in this frame around Broderie. So I am probably gonna set this aside now and pull it back out in October when I'm going to my retreats, because this frame is very stitch intensive and it's long. It's gotta come out to like over here. And it definitely is a simple repeat that I can do that's fairly mindless when I've got a lot of distractions happening. So it's also really easy to see on this plain white linen. So, but I'm really happy with the progress there. You know, a few more times pulling this out if I do retreat, and then maybe a couple of days, one other week, and this one should be done. And that will be the first piece finished for my red and white wall. The last thing I worked on this month was Strawberry Fields Forever from Blackbird Designs. That is this pattern. And I am using a Vicky Clayton silk conversion. And these colors are beautiful. A few of them are not that close to the pattern, or I didn't think so anyway. The pattern has like some pinks in here in different spots. You see like pink. There's no pink in here. There's a couple different reds, but no pink. And then this up here, this green, you'll see on mine is really much more gold looking. But it's beautiful. I'm fine with the colors. Just know that if you do use a conversion, it may or may not be exactly what you think it's going to be. So this is how far I am. I am doing this on Lakeside linen. The color is called Navy Bean. So it's an interesting cross between a tan and a gray. And it is 32 count. Yeah, 32 count, 2/2. With the Vicky Clayton silks. The Vicky's Clayton silks come on the spool, but they're 6-stranded. They're not 12-strand like some silks. But they are gorgeous overdyed silks. A lot of variegation. I don't know if you can see, like in this upper corner up here, this green, I'll hold it up closer, was all one spool, and that's all the, all right, let me see if I can get the light, there we go. It's just a lot of different variations in that green. The other corner where it's the more gold color, there's a lot less variation. But it's a dream to work with. It doesn't fray. It doesn't fray or get like really, trying to think how to describe what silk does when you drag it through too many times. Like by the time you get to the end of the thread, it's kind of very brushed looking. Like it looks like, you know how fiber's twisted, and it looks like all of that twist has been brushed out. I'm not describing that very well at all. Vicky Clayton silk doesn't do that too badly anyway, so I'll give up on trying to describe that. So then I got some stash. I got this Lizzie Kate Thanksgiving string. I've wanted some fall, not Halloween pieces. I should have paid a little more attention because I thought this was just fall, but it does actually have a turkey on it. But that's okay. And these strings are little, so this is on 28 count, it's 13.5 by 1 inches. And I will show you what I plan to finish it on. I have a couple of these acacia wood. I love the graining and the knots and stuff on these. They're just always really pretty. They sell these at Hobby Lobby in the spring shop. So when they've got their spring summer out, this always comes out. It's been there the last 3 years. They have these, and they have little round ones that I've bought as well. And I get them at the end of the season when the stuff is all like, you know, some crazy % off. They always have these left, or they have anyway. So I bought a couple of these, and I haven't had anything that would fit on it, but it is the perfect size for the string. This is about 3 inches wide, and I think about 15 inches long. So it'll leave just a little bit on each end and at the top and bottom, but that's okay. I would like some of the wood grain to show. I don't want to completely cover this. And then I got my order from Jardin. I had ordered some, I had pre-ordered some of the August release stuff, and I wanted to show you this is what they ship in. Their packages are so fun and very well packaged. So in addition to this being hard cardboard and saying do not bend, they had another piece of cardboard in here, and then every pattern they've got in some sort of plastic sleeve or something. So things are extremely well protected from them. And here is what I got from the summer release. So I got this from Sweet Wing Studio. It's called Harvest Butterflies. So that's one of their new pieces. This is also the perfect size to go on that wood piece that I was just holding up, that I said I was going to put the string on. This would finish on 32 count at 10.5 by 1.75. So it would cover a little bit more of the wood in the width, but will be a little bit shorter. So Harvest Butterflies, that's a new release from them. And then I got a cup of 3 patterns from Serenita di Campagna. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not gonna try figuring out what the name of the pattern is. It's CV215, but it's this really cute little hocus pocus. I love the faces on these. Like even the pumpkin should be a little creepy with those stitched mouths, but they're really cute. And I got some cool smaller pieces of blue fabric that I may have to see if this will fit on, that I bought from Dyes by Jim, I think is what name they're using now. I don't know what size this is, 149 by 97, so it's not too big. And then the next two I bought, same designer. This is CV212. I wanted some, just like I mentioned, just autumn, and I thought these leaves were beautiful. And that one is 169 by 42. And all of her patterns are just DMC. I shouldn't say just DMC, but we can all get DMC anywhere, and it's cheap, but she gets some beautiful shading and variegation in the leaves for using DMC. And then this last one is actually an older pattern from her, because this is CV160, but it is this little fall scene nestled in kind of this heart shape. She has a line, I don't want to call it a line, but I know there's more than one pattern that are in this heart shape. I have another one that is I want to say it's like a little girl in a red coat or something. It's it's Valentine related. So this one is an older one. This one is from 2021, but since I was in the fall shopping mood, oh, I thought that was a turkey. It caught my eye. All right, this last one. This one is a little crazy. So this is 1869 Thanksgiving Pincushion, and it's from Samplers and Primitives. And it's gorgeous. But here's what's crazy. This pattern is 69 by 59. So finished, it'll be 5 by 4. The design part would be 5 by 4 on 32 count. And it has 21 colors of DMC. So that is how you're getting that variegated look in those pumpkins. We've gotten a little spoiled with Overdyes doing a lot of that work for us. You know, using DMC instead of Overdyes put the shadows and things in the right place and the highlights based on where the light source is. But yeah, 21 colors for those 3 pumpkins, 4 pumpkins, and some leaves and a twig. That'll be fun. No, seriously, it will be. I don't mind changing colors. I just, when I saw the list on the back, I was like, what? What is all that for? Because you know, it's not the usual list of floss for a pincushion. All right, now a couple things that were not Christmas related, or not Christmas. They are Christmas related. They are not Halloween or fall related. From Twin Peaks Primitives, I got Christmice Ornaments 2023. So they had a whole book of Christmas ornaments, so I can do up some Christmas ornaments for my all mouse tree. I probably won't do all of them in here. I'm kind of picky about my mouse faces. I want them to be cute. I don't want them to look like a rat. And these ones up here, I'm not as crazy about. They're not really bad, but they're not like these soft little round faces like the ones down here. But there were still plenty of mice in there that I will do. So I may do some of those for this year. I was trying to figure out if the picture on the back was different, but it's not. Oh, it's just easier to see some of them. I like this little mouse here with like the mailbox. He's cute. This little angel mouse is cute too. There's lots of cute ones in there. And then I subscribed to just cross stitch. I'm not sure I'm going to keep subscribing to it. I'm just not finding as many patterns. I like getting the magazine and flipping through it and reading all of the ads and all of that, but I'm not finding as many patterns to stitch as what I thought I might. But then again, I used to buy magazine subscriptions just to read the magazine and throw them away, you know, like Better Homes and Gardens and stuff like that. So I guess I could keep getting it. But as part of the subscription, you do get the Christmas ornament issue. So my Christmas ornament issue came. And I'm just going to show a few patterns in here that were my favorites. I'm not going to do like a whole flip through. If you want to see a flip through of any magazine, any just cross stitch magazines, C Zook. So Carolyn Zook, her Flosstube channel is called C Zook. I think it's just C Zook. I'll put her in my description. She does a flip through of the Just Cross Stitch magazine whenever they come. I mean, she will have a standalone video that will say like Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament 2023 flip through, and she will go through and show you all of the pictures in there, so you know, ooh, there were lots of things in there that I like. I want to get that magazine, so I need to get to my LNS and buy it before they're sold out, or you know, order it online or whatever. So she does a great flip through, but I'm going to just show a couple that were my favorites. So I love this little skater girl, the Joy here in the middle, and that is by Sweet Wing Studio as well. It's the same designer as the butterflies that I showed. One of the first things I showed that I got in my August release stash. And then this next one, I don't know what it is about this one, but I love this Joy to the World. It's by Living on the Rainbow. It's just this little village here, and I just love that little village. I think because the houses are so tiny, I'm not sure what it is that's drawing me to that, but. And then the last thing in here that I fell in love with was, I went through the whole magazine and was like, there's no mice this year. And then as I was flipping past this, thinking, I don't want a candlestick, I realized that there was a tiny little mouse. Sorry, I gotta cover up the chart there. There's a tiny little mouse tucked in the candlestick holder. So I'll definitely be doing that one. I think that one they've got, yeah, they've got it on perforated paper. Maybe I'll stitch it that way. I don't know. So the Christmas issue is out. Check it out. Check out C Zook Stitch. And then the only other thing I forgot that I had ordered fabric from Fabrics by Stephanie about 8 weeks ago, and I got the email saying that it was coming and it arrived. So I got another piece of Nantucket Sky. I'm stitching my Madame Chantilly poppies on this. It's on 28 count. I bought this in 32 count. I love the fabric and the modeling so much that I knew I wanted another piece of it just to have in stash, but I got 32 count instead, so I'd have a different count on hand. And then I bought Polar Plunge, which is sort of turquoisey teal. This is 36 count. I really like her fabrics because most of them, the modeling is very subtle, which I like. I want the modeling to add to my piece, not take away from the stitching, which I've put all the work in. So I like her modeling, and I also like whatever her dye process is. It doesn't affect the linen, so the thread count is still fairly true. It doesn't have any little fuzzy pieces like one of the really popular dyers can have sometimes. It hasn't changed the size of the holes or the weave, or it still feels and looks just like the Zweigart would, except over dyed, which is really nice. And then these two I bought thinking that I might want to do my Nightingale Mirabilia on them. I've nixed that now that I've seen these in person, but they're both beautiful colors that I will use for something. So this is Balsam Fir, and it's in 32 count because I thought, and when I said that I better double check, because I thought I might want to do Nightingale on it, so I wanted 32 count for the Mirabilia for the beads. But it's a really nice dark green. It's not quite, so some greens can be more on the yellow side and some more on the blue side. This is actually a little more on the yellow side than what I would call my favorite color, but it's a beautiful dark green, so that will definitely get used. Just not on my Mirabilia. And then this next one I love. I'm not even sure what to call this color. It's kind of a blue. It's a little on the green side though. It's called Circe. And it's a really, it's a very pretty blue. It's just a little fuzz on there. So that was my order that came. And then after seeing those, I have decided, and after feedback from all of you, that I am, so Nightingale is this one from Mirabilia. And several videos ago, I had shown several fabrics and asked for opinions, and everybody agreed on the same fabric. But then I was waiting for my order from Fabrics by Stephanie to see if I liked any of them better, but I'm going back to what was my original first choice and what everybody else thought, and see how she's holding the light there. This is the fabric that I'm going to use. It's Banshee. It's also by Fabrics by Stephanie. And let me hold it up this way, and I'll explain why in a minute. So, no, this side. I am actually going to, that might not be the side I want to use. Yeah, I think it was this side. This corner up here, I am going to put, well, one of these top corners. I have to think about, I have to do a little bit of experimenting. I will put her face and the lamp so that it looks like the lamp is creating that light. The two sides don't look exactly the same. No, I think this is the way. Sorry, I'm probably making you dizzy flipping this back and forth, but yeah, so I want the lamp, it would be over here. I want the lamp to be kind of in her face in the light side. This is a little more model than I think Fabrics by Stephanie usually are. I think if you've got one where there's multiple colors in it like this, then the modeling becomes a little more obvious, but Nightingale will be pretty on that. And I think that was the first choice of everybody. These are the flosses, so nothing clashes. There is actually, the blues in this are a little on the purpley side, and there is actually some blues in here that are on the purpley side. So it doesn't clash, but it's not so close in color that the stitching is going to disappear on the fabric. The fabric is light enough that that won't happen. These looked okay on the Circe, this darker blue, but I'm worried the dress isn't going to show up well enough, so I've nixed that idea. So that is everything I have for this week. I am getting ready to head on a short vacation. So next week, I already have a video shot that I'm gonna push out that is just a quick look at my stitchy setup, where I sit to stitch and how I keep things around me while I'm stitching, and my fabric storage. So everybody have a fantastic week, and I will be back again to visit with you in 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye.